Hey, good morning, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Welcome to the MLive Morning Weather Update brought to you by Lush Lawn. And yes, I'm calling this a deluxe weather update. I'm going to cover the short term and the things that most of you want to know. Snowfall coming up and the temperatures coming up. And then we're going to get into the long range discussion and some very interesting things that I think going on in weather. So if you're a weather nerd like me, hang tight and we'll get to that. Hey, good morning, Kimberly Zeisimer, and good morning, Christopher Dorias. Good morning to you. Carrie Draper, good morning, Kingsley. And Brian Roberts Jr., happy birthday to you. Here we go with the MLive Morning Weather Update brought to you by Lush Lawn. And if you could right now, hit the share button. Hit the share button. It helps me increase viewers and it helps me figure out what you really want to see. All right, so the radar right now is showing not much. There's a patch of snow showers moving across northern Lake Michigan. That'll hit northern lower Michigan, and maybe some snow showers have just moved out of the Detroit area, but nothing real substantial for today. Here's the high resolution rapid refresh. That's, remember, a short-term model. Most times it goes out just 18 hours, and over the next 18 hours, it's looking at an inch or two of snow around Kalkaska and Grayling and Gaylord and maybe Cadillac, and maybe a couple of inches in the western part of the UP. Otherwise, less than an inch or so. All right, so now we get into the squiggly stuff, and still working on the short term, still working on what everybody wants to know. Hey, good morning, Owasso. Good morning, Bob Chapman. And good morning, Jeff Joy. So today we have a weak little system moving through, and snow showers possible just about anywhere, it looks like. And then Friday. This is Thursday night, Friday morning, a stronger Alberta Clipper. Most of the energy north of Lake Superior. And then it drives that cold front through, and it's cold weekend. The high pressure right from northern Canada settles in, and that pretty much brings us to below zero temperatures Sunday morning. There it is. Light wind, maybe clear skies, and snow on the ground, and you're looking at cold temperatures. Early next week, and here's Tuesday into Wednesday, milder air streaming in from the south and west. But here's where I wanted to show you the pattern change starting to come in. As we get to the end of next week, February 16th, 17th, 18th, we're kind of in a squeeze play between warmth to the south. Gulf of Mexico is wide open for business to deliver moisture, and the Arctic cold is still poised just to our north. Michigan in the squeeze play, and we'll show this to you a little bit closer. And indeed, that is 10 days out, so that's pretty far out. But the point being is it looks like we're going to go into what we would call a Colorado low situation, where the storm centers come out of around the Colorado region and move east, pick up the moisture, and those are fairly moisture-laden storm systems. Here's the U.S. model, shows that to you too. There's our Alberta Clipper, snow to rain, and then bitterly cold temperatures. Not a lot of wind with it though, so it's going to be just an actual thermometer temperature that's cold. And then here we go to late next week with it. It shows the same scenario. Wide open Gulf of Mexico, a rain, snow, freezing rain mess across Michigan at some point Thursday into Friday. And then as we go out, this one goes out 16 days, shows another weather system. And as we get out farther into the late part of February, it's showing another one of those Colorado lows. So I guess my point being to you is that it looks like we're entering another stormy period as we get to late next week and probably lasting for a couple of weeks. All right, in the short term, here's what you have to deal with today. By the way, thanks for joining me, 423 folks. And if you could please hit the share button. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa with the morning update brought to you by Lush Lawn. And we're going to get into some guts of meteorology for long-range forecasting here in just a second. But I want to give this a try. Good morning, Kim Kopajeski. Hopefully I got it right. And good morning, John Van Oppum and Mitch Mertz. Thanks for watching. All right, back to the short term. So today, not a lot. Some snow showers coming through, increasing in coverage in Grand Rapids and in Saginaw and Bay City, and moving into the southeast overnight tonight, an inch maybe. And then here's the strong cold front. Friday morning starts with a spurt of some snow, quickly to rain as we go into the 30s and 40s. And then the cold front comes through, and then here comes the lake effect. Pretty well, I think, confined to the western third of lower Michigan and, of course, across the UP. Quiet early next week. We return to some milder temperatures. And then here's that European showing us in the dividing line that I'm talking about as the stormy phase starts late next week. One little wave of moisture, two waves. Yeah, and this is too far out to pinpoint anything. But the point being is we're getting in the time of year where we have the classic snow band, then freezing rain and sleet, and then rain band. So we're getting into the mess just as you'd expect, right on time, second half of February and into early March. Snowfall on Friday, I'm calling it a 3 to 6 inch lake effect snow. Grand Rapids westward up through the Traverse City area, up through Charlevoix and Boyne Mountain, something like that. Elizabeth Platte flying back to Grand Rapids tomorrow from Florida. Should be no major issue on weather there. All right, temperatures. Today, fairly mild, upper 30s to even low 40s. Flint and into the thumb. And Detroit, maybe 40 degrees. Ann Arbor, close to 40. Grand Rapids, 37. Even Traverse City above the freezing mark at 36 or so. Tomorrow, just a touch cooler by a few degrees. Friday, ahead of the cold front. Back, hey, James Luke Jr., thank you. I'm his favorite weatherman, he says. Thank you very much. And we're about to get into the guts, so hang with me, folks. Hang with me, or if you know any weather nerds, share now and say weather nerd alert. It's coming up. All right, here's Friday, 40-ish. And then here we go into Saturday, very cold, single digits for highs. Traverse City and northward, and only teens, southern lower, and Super Bowl Sunday, cold in the teens only. Morning temperatures again below zero. And then Monday, cold. Tuesday, back to the 30s. Wednesday, back to the maybe mid 40s. And another cold front as we're on that dividing line. And when you end this 10 days out, that just reeks of storminess. 40s to the south in Ohio, 20s to the north, and we sit in the freezing area. That's what brings us to storm systems. All right, now, the weather geeking out. Okay, we're going to look at the upper level flow. We'll call it the mid-level flow, 15,000 feet up. We're going to go out 16 days, and I just want to show you how the overall upper air pattern is going to be changing. We've been in a northwesterly flow out of Canada, very dry. I'm going to write a post about that later this morning. January, Detroit only had something like 52 hundredths of an inch of liquid. Normally around 2 inches, and it was the fifth driest. Now we're going to see that flow back from the northwest to the west to slightly southwest. That's a more active storm track. So that's what we're looking at. When you're looking at these maps, you're looking at basically the solid lines are the wind flow from west to east in general, and you're looking at about 15,000 feet up. And notice the northwest flow bends to the west and at times to the southwest. That's a more moist flow. So here we go with this. Okay, and this is us right now. We have that bend. We have the Alberta Clipper coming through, and this is Friday into Saturday. So look at the northwest flow coming out of Canada and into early next week. And then remember I mentioned by Tuesday and Wednesday we warm up as a storm drops into the southwest part of the country. So notice the flow starts to bend to the west, southwest, and we get to Thursday. And notice the flow, not out of the northwest, but out of the southwest. That's a much sloppier upper air flow, okay? And it drives a weather system through Thursday or Friday. Not a blockbuster, but when you're talking a storm system that could have a half inch of moisture with it, you can have a lot of slop. You can have a lot of snow. You can have a lot of wet snow. You could have ice. And don't want to forecast that just yet, but you can. And then we continue to go out into, we're at the 22nd of February, and you'll notice that as we get toward the end of this, out 16 days, notice a couple of storm systems hitting the West Coast, dropping down to the Southwest, and those would shoot out at us. And that is February 25th. So last part of February, starting next week, we could have some wet weather. Now, what you're looking at here, we're getting more into the guts of meteorology. Oh, people are dropping like flies. No, you're hanging with me. 365 weather nerds. We need to come up with a secret handshake or something like that, right? A secret code. Hey, I'm a weather nerd. Or maybe we should just all get t-shirts printed up. Say, I'll be honest, I'm a weather nerd. I'm a weather geek. There's a lot of us. Don't worry. You're not alone. All right, so what we're going to look at now is that same flow, 500 millibars, 15,000 feet up. But you're going to see blue and red on it. And that is how cold the atmosphere is compared to normal on that 500 millibar height, or how warm it is compared to normal. And it'll show you some changes. So let's get into that here now. All right, you're getting the guts of it now, folks. You're getting what I'm calling a deluxe weather update. We still have Julie Holmes with us, and Pamela Sparks still with us, and Michael Greenlee. Maybe Michael's a weather geek too. Let's hope so. So we'll go out into the future. We're going to go out into early next week when I talked about that southwesterly flow. And there you can see colder atmosphere dropping into the southwest part of the country, slightly warmer in the upper atmosphere in the eastern half, and that's a stormy pattern for the eastern half of the country. And then we go out into next weekend, and then we go out 16 days, and again, the next stormy phase starting to drop down into the southwest, and then eventually that would shoot out toward us toward the end of February into early March. Climate Prediction Center, I think they do a fairly good job. Not perfect, but they do a good job at signifying what's going to happen. So let me try to get this centered for you and just show you that 6 to 10 day forecast shows that classic southwest to northeast moisture laden storm system. Hey, June Martin from the Lake Shore in West Michigan. You probably got a great view there. And Dwayne from Black River watching. Kurt Davey, he might be a weather nerd also. And Monica Hadley, good morning. I remember going to Monica Hadley's 5th grade class, I think, in Vassar, years and years and years ago. Those 5th graders are probably CEOs of companies now, I would guess. Let's see. So, 6 to 10 day forecast, February 14th to 18th. Still slightly cool, but more importantly, into that moist flow. 8 to 14 day, still into that moist flow. 3 to 4 week forecast going out to March 4th. The cold is backed off, and the above normal precipitation continues into Michigan. And one last thing, the February forecast as a whole, look at that classic track from Arkansas up through Michigan. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to get totally clocked with storm systems bunch. It just says that the upper atmosphere is going from a cold, drier flow to a west, southwest, more active, moist flow. And it probably starts in the second half of next week, probably starts Thursday or Friday. And then after that, about every 3 to 5 days, we might look at a storm system coming from the west-southwest. And those can have moisture in them, and they can lead us to that March mess. But hey, the good thing is we're already talking about March, so we're getting along in this, aren't we? All right, Diane Horning, Tom Skilling, one of my buddies, WGN in Chicago, got her started watching the weather closely. That's good. Wow, we got a lot of weather nerds here. We went from 400 and I got into it, and usually people drop like flies when you get scientific, but no, not us weather people. We want more and more and more, right? So we held tight at 350 people. All right. Now I know I'm not alone. Take care. I'll shut up now. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update brought to you by Lush Lawn. Thank you to Lush Lawn for sponsoring this for us. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. Looks like late February and March going to live up to its name, Weather Madness. I'll keep you updated on that right here on MLive. Take care. Thank you.